graduate. My name is Ken Navitsky. I do coach out at the college. My wife and I moved here from, I'm a Florida boy myself. I came up to play football at Minnesota State Mankato. I'm a Maverick. And I love this city with every ounce of who I am. This is where I call home. And it's that way because of people like you. I've got fantastic neighbors. My kids go to great schools. I do not fear anything in this city. I think that we've got one of the best little corners of the world anywhere in this great 50-state continent of ours. I want to reiterate, I worked on 3 campaigns, okay, and I have slowly evolved to where I am today. I was a little bit liberal in college. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. And it was by my own undertaking. That's what's even worse about it. And then we moved up, and Ross Perot came in, and I liked Ross Perot. He was a businessman. I thought this is a big business. Let's put a businessman in charge of the business and see what happens. And then I worked for the Republican Party for the last 2 campaigns, and I did whatever they needed, whether it was advising or knocking on doors or answering telephones or getting hung up on. God bless it, I did it all, and I did it with a big smile on my face. But the one thing I want to make really clear here, and I think that this is important, I'm not going to stand up here and just rip apart our current president. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, and it's not going to get the things accomplished that we need to get accomplished, okay? It's just a waste of time. I feel very strongly that we need to get our own house in order, and we can start doing that right now. Yeah, you bet. All politics are local. You bet. And that's a great thing to say because it's right on the money. This isn't so much to me about taxes, okay, as it is about government spending. This is the misconception, I think. You know, taxes are a direct result on how much money our government decides it's going to spend. Okay? If we vote people in, whether they are Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, it's irrelevant. If you tell them you don't want more government intervention in your representatives in that place, I want to be real clear about that. We don't have a king. We don't have a monarchy. We have a public servant. That's what we have. The one thing that we have to get into our mind is we can make a difference every single day. My family is affected by the fact that there are so many people that have the courage to go out and start a job from scratch. They file all the endless paperwork. They do all of the legwork. And then they want to go and sell something. Or they want to create something. And it takes a lot of courage. And then they do it. And then they make their first paycheck and they look at it and they see all this money's been taken out. And there's another thing I want. Fees. Fees! Fees! Taxes! It's the same thing. Okay? There's a city that now charges a fee when you've got to call the finest out to your house. When you call the police, 2 weeks later, you get a bill for $260 in the mail. It's a fee. Oh, wait a minute, it's not a tax, it's just a fee. Come on. See, and that's where we get going. How big do we want this government to be? Now, we started over here, we were a republic. And now we're somewhere in the middle. Okay? And then we've got things over here that are like socialism. Are you familiar with socialism? Let me tell you, we're nowhere near socialism yet. But we're making progress. And that's why we need to start holding our elected leaders, our public servants, accountable. Washington. Here's something I'm talking down to you. I feel like you're all my players now, and you know, I'm trying to keep things going here, but man, I'll tell you what, we're in the middle of a situation where we can go either way. You know what a teeter-totter is? We're sitting right in the middle. We've got an opportunity right now at events just like this happening all over the country. You know, the events that they'll be forgotten about by Friday. And no one's going to remember. It'll be all over by Friday. And I'm very proud to be surrounded by so many right-wing extremists here. bless America. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm not perfect. I love my neighbors. I want them to aspire to be better. I want them to watch my back. I want them to watch my home. I want them to look out for my best interests. And they expect the same of me. And that's all I ask for. I don't want the government telling me how to raise my children. Okay? If I want to spank my child's getting a spanking when they misbehave. I'll tell you what else. I like keeping score. I think it's a good thing when you keep score. Okay? There's no 9th place ribbons in my household. I don't take 9th place ribbons. And the things that we need to understand is, I want the government not to go away. It's important that we understand this. I don't want the government to go away. I really and truly don't. When our forefathers set this on its course, they understood that people needed to be able to leave their home, their farm, their family, to chase the American dream. They knew that you needed to have the liberty to go out and do this. Liberty's a good thing. And they knew that there was a framework that they had to put out there so that you knew when you were gone, people weren't coveting your wife or trying to steal your cattle or taking stuff from your garden. They knew that that was a basic fundamental thing that the government needed to do. And that set forth, just like this gentleman down here, the handsome devil, told you, it allowed you to go chase the American dream. And you didn't have to worry about things being taken from you while you were out working. God forbid you work. What a horrible concept. And here's the other thing. And they realized that this was the framework that would be torn apart bit by bit, brick by brick, if you did not stand up for what you believed was right.
Let's stand up!
I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll tell you what, because I know we got a lot of great speakers out here, but there's a few things that are really heavy on my soul. I want you guys to understand that I love this country an unbelievable amount, just like you guys do. I had the opportunity about 2 years ago to go knock on about 1,400 doors. I ran for city council. When I was out in the suburbs, everybody was about my age. 2 cars in the garage, nice big house. They were living the American dream. And I remember thinking, man, I might get in there and screw this up. Hell, they look like they're doing pretty good. But as I got closer and closer, and this is a true story, to the city, into the smaller neighborhoods that have been established for a long time, the people that were answering the door were a little bit more elderly. And they were the ones that made me feel as if this was a necessary thing to do. I would be invited into their homes, and they were giving me cookies and milk. It was like going to my grandparents' house. It was beautiful. And people offered me beers. I didn't think I had to go home. But the thing is, these people would sit across from me and tell me how they had fixed incomes, and they had lived in these houses for 25, 30, 35 years. And then they would get teary-eyed, and they would explain to me that they were afraid that they were going to lose the house that had been in their family for so long, because they could not afford the taxes on their property. The state, the federal, the local. They didn't have anywhere to go. And that's when I realized this is what it's all about. Okay? This is what it's all about. I'll wrap this up right here. And this is very important. I heard on the news, I saw in the papers, this is nothing. It's going to go away. Trust me, by Friday, they're all going to forget about this. It's going to be forgotten about. I'll tell you what, every journey that you guys will ever embark on in your entire life is going to start with what? That's exactly right. This is that first step. Do not let your duty as a citizen of this great country slip through your fingers because you go home tonight and forget about this movement. This is the beginning of a great journey. Do not let it be the end. I want to say God bless you guys. God bless Rochester. May God continue to bless the United United States of America. Thank you very much.